Hey Alice, good
What
talk.
up?
It's a good night. I'm here with John Doyle from American Snap. Thanks for being here.
Dude, yeah, of course.
This is it's been a long time coming, but we finally made it work. So
Yeah.
very excited to talk to you.
Yeah, man, you too.
Um, John's in a band called American Snap. They're really awesome. It's a three-piece with Christian Northover and what's the other guy's name?
His name's Parker Phillips.
With Parker Phillips. Yeah, you guys are super cool. It's
Oh, thanks.
it's a vibe.
Thank you. Yeah. What's cool about Parker, he's a part of this group called the Bengal Boys. So he is obsessed with the Cincinnati Bengals NFL football team. And so he's in like a band with a bunch of other guys that just make songs about the Bengals. So he didn't even really play bass, but he was a good singer. And I was like, dude, I'm tired of trying to find or like, hire bassists to play with me. And I was like, man, I'm just gonna ask him if he can just learn my shit because our songs are pretty easy. And I already knew he was a good singer. So that's like amazing. If you can just tell somebody, hey, jump in on like backup vocals, and like he does. So it's yeah, I love the vibe. And Christian was introduced to me by Mike, which is mutual friends of you and me. So
Right on. Yeah, you guys have good synergy together. You clearly enjoy what you're doing.
yeah, totally.
Sometimes like you'll see a band and they like are just there out of obligation or it's like a chore. And it's like, why are you guys doing this?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the chore part for me,
Oh,
bad like self promotion.
you cut out for a second. You're back.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just saying like the hard part for me is always going to be social media, and I'm bad at self promotion as well. But like, if it's getting on stage with the guys or writing songs or recording, I love that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you guys clearly have fun. You
Oh
came
yeah.
to American Snap June 27th at Springwater, which was actually the first place I saw you guys play. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we were just talking about you did the free beer thing at East Room.
Yeah.
It was like a leap day or something.
Yeah. Leap Day show.
Leap day show. Yeah, that was cool.
It really was. Yeah. Yeah.
What
Like, good. No, you go ahead, man.
what brought you to Nashville?
Man, so I'm from Washington State, and my aunt has always lived here, and my cousins, and I was in bands up in Washington and stuff, but like just got to a transitional period, where a lot of people in their early to mid 20s kind of get where they're like, what's next for me? I don't know. And me and my bandmate at the time like moved down here together in 2015, 2016. So that's what brought me here. Just kind of like change of pace. I was kind of nervous. I was like, man, like is Nashville going to be like only country? Like, are they even going to be into like what I like to do? And it did take some time to kind of find those people.
Hmm.
But one of those people was Mike and going to Springwater. And I feel like that was where I felt at home, kind of, it's like, all right, like this is where like the music I like is.
Yeah, Springwater's
Yeah.
a magical place.
Yeah.
Everyone says it's the oldest bar in Nashville, but the truth is it's the oldest bar in Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit. That's insane. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like almost 200 years old or like over 200 years old. It's like ancient.
And it was always like a bar.
Yeah, pretty sure. It's
Holy shit.
it's Springwater Lounge and Supper Club, I think is.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what the fuck it was.
So have you ever been there when there's that weird little back room? I think it's full of like gear now,
Hmm.
but
We
there's like when
actually
there's
we
yeah,
did
like
the
a
hundredth
restaurant.
we did the 100th episode of the podcast in that room.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That was the supper club, I think.
Oh, okay. I got you. That makes
Like, dude, one time I was just sitting watching a show and I was like, I'm gonna go in there and check that out. And there was like three dudes in there on like just bar stools, and then like a woman behind the counter that was like, yeah, what do you want? Like, we'll cook you anything, basically.
well,
And she made me like an okay burrito, you know, like it was I ate it, I was fine. Didn't make me sick or anything.
You're here to tell about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Backroom Springwater Burrito Survivor. You should have like
yeah,
a t-shirt.
yeah, honestly. Well, yeah, I mean that whole thing is not open anymore. Like it's just full of like gear now, I think. Or
Yeah.
I don't know, you could tell me, I guess you were in there. But
That's how it was when we were in there. It was just full of gear.
yeah, I saw like a full-on drum set in there and I was like, what's that for? Like, did they have a house kit? Like I never knew that they had a house kit. But
There's like a what that's interesting. I didn't know that either. There's like a restaurant on the back of Springwater now,
oh,
like called like 615 Hot Chicken or something.
okay.
They're not open during the hours in which I would usually be at Springwater, and I'm like, that's a major missed opportunity. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what are they doing? That's crazy.
Yeah, they're like open during the day. Apparently, it's like I've heard people talk about it. It's like kind of like kind of famous hot chickens. So
Okay. Hey, yeah. I mean, I'm all about like the good hot chicken. Like I get hot chicken a couple times a year. You know, you can only handle it so much. But it is convenient that McDonald's is right there. I mean, that's what everybody
yeah,
does. It just goes to McDonald's.
yeah,
Yeah.
right next to I. So many times we used to like catch a show at Springwater and be like midnight. It's like, well, fuck, what do we do now? And then you just walk around aimlessly at the Parthenon,
That's always fun.
like
Dude.
trip over homeless people
Yeah.
and yeah, fall into Dirty Needle and
Yeah. Dude, when I moved here, I didn't when I moved here, I didn't know like how to like you know, it's tough when you move to a new city. You're like, okay, like step one, what is it? Like go to some bars, I guess.
yeah,
And I would just ride my skateboard around aimlessly at Centennial Park. And I remember like running into like some other skateboarders, but like it was like it felt like high school or something. Like they were like not really wanting to be my friend. You know what I mean? But I was like, hey, like other skateboarders, cool. Like, but yeah, dude, Centennial Park, man. Parthenon is so weird that it's there, but so iconic too. Like,
yeah. I remember I haven't been there like inside since I was like young. I grew
it's
up
impressive.
like an hour from here,
Okay.
and like we came to Nashville, but like the Nashville I know now was not the Nashville I knew when I was a little kid, you know?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah. And like yeah, I haven't been inside that place though since I was like probably like 7 or 8 years old. Have you been inside?
Yeah, dude, I've been inside a couple times and I was just like the first time I went in, I was like, this is insane. I feel like it's a little bit overlooked, even.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I went in there once. There was like an art convention going on, and they just like let us in, and there was like free beer and everything. We're like, okay, like this is cool. But
Nice, nice. Do you have a favorite hang in Nashville?
dude, I live in West. I live in Bellevue.
Okay.
And so my favorite hang, if anybody who lives in West knows, is Players
Hmm.
in Bellevue. It's just a great dive. Like it's surprisingly good for where I live because Bellevue's kind of more like suburbia in a way.
Yeah.
But like Players is great. They're open till I think 3 in the morning. They've got pool tables. The bartenders don't take anybody's shit. Like it's just, and they got food and cheap beer. So it's like, I just love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What kind of music did your parents listen to growing up?
That's a good question. My dad is really into his favorite band of all time is probably Little Feat, but he is into like Warren Zevon, Little Feat, who else? Tom Petty,
Hmm.
Joe Jackson, you know, Elvis Costello, kind of like that, almost like pre pop punk stuff. Some of it, it's almost like it really is what happened before.
Yeah, the precursor.
Yeah, or like the Clash.
Yeah.
What
Cool.
about you?
Um, man, I was not ready to be asked my own question. Uh, you just reversed Uno'd me.
Got it.
Uh, My dad really likes Hall and Oates and
That's
like Elton John
okay.
and like Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, okay.
That one's big for my mom too.
Yeah, my mom likes Elton John a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? My dad also listens to country music,
Okay. Yeah.
Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah, 90s country.
Yeah, 90s country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sugarland.
Nice. Okay.
Um, my mom likes some like old metal, like Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. They oh, the Beatles. Beatles were huge
Mm-hmm.
for my mom.
You know
Um,
what's weird? This is kind of a sacrilegious thing to say, I guess, but I know how people feel. I know how Beatles fans feel, but my dad just didn't really listen to the Beatles. And I think that what I've realized is that people forget that like you could also not like the Beatles. You know what I mean? Like I think he was
yeah.
more of a Stones guy.
Yeah.
And I know that there was a point in time when you were either a Beatles fan or a Stones fan, and it was okay because I think that at least when the Beatles first came out, there was fans who were like, "Oh no, they're like singing about like love and stuff. I don't want to hear that, you know, or whatever."
Yeah.
But obviously, like you can't argue with their catalog. But I was just like making a point that like I didn't really grow up on the Beatles because my dad didn't really like them, so
Mm.
I didn't listen to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you
Kind
feel
of
about
sucks,
the
but
Beatles as an adult?
it's like I can listen to it and respect it, but I just think since I wasn't raised on it, I don't think I've had my moment with them.
Understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which people have gotten pissed about. Like I'll say that and they'll be like, what are you saying? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, sorry.
Was there a religion in the house growing up?
Yeah, we were Catholic.
Okay. Catholics always interesting. Um,
Yeah.
I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and
Oh yeah.
I was also homeschooled. So I was like really awesome and super.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dude, yeah. I work downtown and the Jehovah's Witness, they have like 4 or 5 kiosks set up right around Broadway. And I'm like, man, like I do feel for them in a way because it's like, what are you guys doing? Like you're on Broadway, like trying to convert people. Like, geez, like that's rough.
you're like in Sodom and Gomorrah right now. Like you're in Babylon.
Yeah. It's like why? I mean, I get what they're doing, but it's like you'd have an easier time like in Franklin or something. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna get made fun of downtown.
Yeah, like I'm just like, man, like I'm sure some drunk people are being really rude to these people. And I'm just like, that sucks. But
Like everyone in the world like unanimously thinks that Jehovah's Witnesses are annoying, and no one knows that better than Jehovah's Witnesses.
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, because it's like uh it's not like man, as a kid, like I had to knock on people's doors on a Saturday morning. Like that is like the
Oh,
least wanted thing in the world is a Jehovah's Witness on your porch,
oh yeah.
8 a.m. on a fucking Saturday.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like no one wants that. And it's like, yeah, I don't really want to be here either, but I have to.
Uh
Yeah.
that's
It's
hard.
it's not great. But you know what? Like I do really respect it. Like my sister
Yeah.
my sister's a regular pioneer, which means she does that 70 hours a month. Um,
Wow.
and she does it because she thinks she's saving your eternal life. Like, and she really believes that. So like, I mean, I don't agree about everything, but I do respect like the self-sacrifice of it.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think it's like it's not like it teaches you like overall, like I think that's a good perspective, is what I'm saying. It's like that's a cool way to look at it instead of being like just pissed. You know what I mean? Like, because there's plenty of shit, as you know, to be mad about, like within that. But that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. Like I said, I mean, there's a reason I left, But
yeah, for sure.
um, yeah, man. Like when I was 18, I moved out and I was homeschooled. So like I knew the only people I knew was in my church. Like that's it.
Yeah.
and like I just started going to shows, like East Room, Springwater. No, Springwater. I wasn't old enough to get into it first because I was like
Yeah.
18.
So maybe the end.
Yes, yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
end, and like exit in and like fucking marathon, for bigger stuff. But like, yeah, mostly the end and East Room, I think.
Did you ever make it over to? I know it's kind of like a churchy venue, but did you ever make it over to Rocket Town?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was at Rocket Town many times. Yeah,
Because as we, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Yeah, so like we both remember then when like Christian music and mainstream kind of crossed paths,
Yeah, like
and
Three
it was
Days
like,
Grace. I,
what's
I
that?
I fucking loved 3 Days Grace.
Oh yeah, 3 Days Grace, but then like Under Oath and all that stuff.
Under Oath.
Like
Yep.
those bands were playing at like Rocket Town, and it was cool. But I don't know, that was like a nice venue too. Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, the church thing kind of got in their way. I think probably a little bit.
Does Rocket Town still exist? I
It
haven't.
still exists, but I have not heard of a show happening there since like I moved here. Like it's been, I wouldn't go yet. Anyways, it's kind of like a younger place to go, but I don't know what they do there now. I think it's just like a church.
I haven't been to Underdog or not. Ugh, I don't know why I said Underdog. That was weird. Rocket Town. That's the like very different venues. That was a weird slip. But
Extremely different. What? Same syllables,
oh, okay. Rocket Town, Underdog. Yeah, we'll
I
go with that.
guess. Yeah.
Rocket Dog.
Rocket Dog. Haven't been to Johnny Rockets in years, man.
Yeah, I haven't been to Rocket Town in like probably like 6 years.
Same. Yeah. I went once for like one during that time when I was like trying to find friends and shit and like went there. And I think I was like the oldest guy there and I was kind of like, all right, like I gotta go. Like I was like 22 and everybody else was like 18 or something.
Were you playing in bands in Washington?
Yeah, dude, for sure. In my home, I lived in like a small town outside of Portland, Oregon. And yeah, we just played shows in Portland usually. Portland's very like if East Nashville was one big city.
Like the whole thing was East Nashville.
Yeah, essentially.
That's cool. I like East Nashville.
Dude, yeah, and Portland's great. I definitely like Nashville a lot for I like it better for some stuff, but I miss Portland too.
Yeah. What's the music scene there like?
Um, I mean, it's been so long, but when I was there, it was like at least the scene I was in was yeah, like again, like I said, it's kind of like if imagine Nashville minus country,
Hmm.
like minus all of those like writers round country artists.
Okay.
And yeah, honestly, just like East Nashville, but I think East Nashville minus like some of the Americana and like blues and country that goes on there.
Gotcha.
At least when I was in Portland, there was a lot of like that Mumford and Sons thing was kind of fading out at the time. So that was like huge in Portland. Like just that sound, like
Yeah.
but then the bands I was playing, dude, I feel like you can relate. I just played with shitty ass bands at dark, dingy venues for the whole time I was there, which I enjoyed, but that was all I ever did.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
When you say Mumford and Sons, like that was such an era of music.
It really was.
Yeah. Or like all the like the stomp clap song.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, yeah, it was kind of like bullshit, but it was like you got to literally witness a oversaturated genre to the point that like we played a battle of the bands one time and like we sounded like pop punk. So like at that time pop punk was just sort of like old news. And the band that like won the battle of the bands was like this, 7-piece band where the lead singer had a kick drum, like the whole thing. And they won. And it was like, dude, they couldn't have been more of a carbon copy of Mumford Sons. And so I get why they won, but at the same time, it was like, are you serious? Like, there's nothing original happening here.
That's funny.
But it sold at the time, like whatever.
What have you been listening to in like the last week?
Oh, fuck, dude. I always look at my playlist. I hate to say it, but my music is all pretty boring. Like what I listen to pretty consistently is just old stuff.
Nice.
So I listen to the Smithereens a lot. If you haven't listened to them, they're a great like band from the '90s. A little bit of I'm always listening to Tom Petty. Uh, let's see what else. Yeah. Um, that's always a hard question for me. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I always have to look too.
yeah.
Um, I listen to a lot of like really aggressive drill rap.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's like mostly what I listen to. I will listen to anything, and I just appreciate all the different genres. But like in the car, if I'm putting something on, it's yeah, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's things that I won't mention that I listen to. You know what I mean? Like because like either I'll sound like
I'm
I don't know.
curious.
Yeah, and I'll sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, or like I listened to like the Kendrick Lamar like diss track, and I that
Hell
was
yeah.
that was on my playlist, for a while. And like I enjoyed that. Um, I'll always listen to pop punk music though. Like I don't listen to too many of like the Turnstile. I love Turnstile.
Hmm.
I like White Reaper a lot. They're a good band. Um, and then I'll always revisit the classic pop punk stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I was saying to your friend before we hopped on, I never, especially with my band now, I typically don't aim for pop punk, but it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter what I aim for, it's always going to have that sort of sprinkled in.
Hmm.
And then when I got Christian and Parker to join, that's like kind of all that they want to do. And it doesn't upset me, but I was a little surprised when Christian was such a big like Travis Barker Blink fan. Like I really did not expect that.
Yeah.
So,
He's so fucking awesome. Shout out to Chris.
dude, shout out to Christian Northover. He's a really good drummer. Plays in about 2 3 bands, and he's been super loyal to us and easy to work with. So, no complaints.
He's been in a lot of really cool projects I've seen. But yeah, American Snap's definitely different than like other stuff I've seen him in. I really like it. I really like Doll's music.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, we're gonna be putting out. I guess the other thing we could promote is we're gonna be putting out a new single on July 19th.
Hmm.
So that's cool. Parker, I kind of was like, hey man, like you should write a song and you should sing it. And so he put together a song. It sounds like maybe more pop punk than like I was again expecting. Because I'm always trying to go for like classic rock, but then it always ends up sounding sort of pop punk. But he really went, you know, head first into this like sort of pop punk thing. And I'm just like, whatever, man. And I sent it to Mike, and Mike was like, this is sick. So I'm like, cool. I'm glad like you guys like it. Cause I'm always like overly critical of,
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't want people to think that we're just like exactly what, I don't know. I just want to throw some like curveballs at people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, that's the goal. Making
Yeah.
sure everybody has fun.
I feel like it's pretty like you guys could fit on a lot of different bills because of what it is. Like,
Yeah.
um, you could be with like heavier stuff, or you could like be with like even like country music or something. Like, I just feel like it's something you could like put a lot of places, which is definitely to y'all's benefit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. Like I never want to be like overly pretentious about like where I'm playing or who I'm playing with. Like I'll play with metal bands and shit as long as they're cool, and like I'll play with country too. Like I don't care because I've had a decent time doing that as well. Like I've done a lot of writers rounds, and a lot of the artists are just like, dude, it's so cool that like someone's doing something a little different here on like Broadway or Demumbrian or whatever.
Oh, that'd be cool. Do you do the same songs when you do a writer's round?
Yeah, I'll do it like acoustic though.
That's cool. I would like
Yeah,
to see that. Let me know next time you do that.
dude, absolutely. I'll maybe I'll put one on the in the books here coming up because
Oh yeah.
you can always hop on one. There's so many.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been to a lot of those like where it's like trade-off songs, like one person plays, then another person plays a song.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
it's cool.
Yeah, I like this stuff. There's a I can't remember the name of the place, but there's a hotel downtown that has a cool bar. They put,
Cambria?
what is it?
Cambria?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. Um, yeah, man. What's when you write a song, is that like do you consciously like sit down to write something, or
Um,
I guess
you know
what's the
what's
process?
been happening? Yeah, no, I mean it just kind of comes out of nowhere. But what's been happening lately is like I'll be like, oh, that's sick, and I kind of just like lay down an idea, and then it just kind of goes into my file of ideas, right? And then like maybe once a month, I kind of listen to all the ideas,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that idea is better than I remember it, or something, and then you start to build on it. So that's just how I've been doing it, and that's why it's actually been we haven't put anything out in a little bit, just because I was writing everything alone. Like the songs that are out are just me, like, and I hired drummers to play on them and stuff. And then I had Christian and Parker join, and all of a sudden, like, we've got a real band now. And so now we're trying to figure out how we write together. So that's been actually kind of like, it's been a good thing because Christian's a beast on drums, but it's also been like, are you cool with me writing alone? Like, can I send you drum parts? Like, sure, do your thing, but like, you know what I mean? It's kind of awkward when I've been writing alone for years, and so it's like, how do I approach having a real band now? But yeah, just screwing around on Logic, putting down ideas, and maybe throwing down a vocal melody that doesn't make any sense, but then later on take the syllables and the gibberish and make it into lyrics or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Usually, I feel like that's way easier to start with like a melody or something than to like start with like I don't
lyrics.
actually know anything about it. I'm not a musician. Like
Okay.
I write poetry, but
Oh,
like
sick.
I don't know anything about music. I mean,
Yes.
like I interview a bunch of bands and like I see a lot of music, but like making
I
music,
mean,
no idea.
it's crazy. I think some of the best, to your credit, I think some of the best writers, musicians do write poetry, and they write the lyrics first, and then they're able to just like make that happen.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But those people are just, those people are professional lyricists. Like I'd say for me, the melody is like the most important thing because that's what catches people's ears. And then I try to do my best to like take that melody and make it into something that makes sense as a story.
Mm.
Sometimes that story comes out better than other times. Sometimes I'm really proud of it, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I could have done better, but like this song, I need to put it out. I need to stop like beating this dead horse.
That's a superpower that not everyone has. Like just at a certain point, it's like, yeah, like work on it for a little while, sit on it, come back to it. But at a certain point, like you don't have to like it doesn't have to be perfect. Just put it out. Like
Yeah.
some people have that problem. Like I don't have that problem with my shit. I'm like, okay, well I beat this like down to a certain level, like, and this is what it is. And I really don't think I'm gonna make any like serious headway beyond that. Like it's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I usually know when the song's done too. Like yeah, how many more hours can I sit around, and it's honestly a little bit of a waste of time. I think that's what you end up realizing is it's like, how many more hours can I go around and like beat myself up about like this lyric or whatever? Like when and I feel like talking to people who are just like your fans, you end up realizing that they don't care. Or maybe you've experienced this when you put out something that you're not that proud of, but it's everybody's favorite.
Oh,
That ends up happening a lot where I'm like, I don't, this song's okay. And then I put it out, and everyone's like, that's like our favorite song. And I'm like, that's so weird. Like, cool, but,
yeah,
you know,
it's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Like being content with it. Like there's got to be a middle ground where it's like if you think what you put out is like the best thing you've ever written and like it's downhill from here, like that's a bad feeling. It's probably better to like this is okay and I can do better. Like you have where you have room to grow from there rather than
That's true. That's true.
yeah. I don't think any artist should be like yeah, that's just a bad place to be as an artist is like this is amazingly perfect and I'll never do this again.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like at least I know what to work on next time or something.
Yeah, but it's so weird too because it's like I know that I'll never have the time like I had when I was 18 to 24,
Yeah.
where I would just sit around for 12 hours and hammer out songs with friends and stuff. But that's okay. Like I feel like that was a good way to like learn and stuff. But I do feel like just as good of ideas are made really quickly too. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I say ghost story, what I really mean is like, because I like you say ghost story, that puts this uh, that puts like an idea around it about like what happened, I guess. But like, have you just ever experienced anything that you can't explain?
So I'm trying now to think of my not ghost story because that is a good question. Things that I can't explain. I mean, I do have an actual ghost story I'll tell after this, but when I guess this is maybe just like luck or coincidence or whatever, but when I was living in Washington, I was having a really tough time and just like life was hard and stuff. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I don't know what I need. And I'm just sort of lost. And then all of a sudden, like the next day, my aunt was like, you should just move to Nashville, you know? And I was like, yep, sounds good. Even though like any other time before that, I would have been like, nah.
Mm.
So to me, that was kind of cool and mysterious. But the real ghost story I have is that my grandmother is from Ireland, or she was. And me and my dad went out to Ireland one time to visit. And at the time, my parents and like the whole family still had held on to like her childhood home because her brother had lived there before he died. So we would stay there when we went to visit. But this childhood home was like not new by any means. It was not upgraded. It was, I don't even think for a while it had an indoor bathroom. It had one when I got there, but like it was still very rough. Like you had to light a fire for heat, the whole thing. And we go to bed, me and my dad, he's like in this twin bed on one side of the room. I'm on like this side. And I wake up and there's like a man standing like right in the doorway. And I, to the point where like, I was like, Dad, wake up. And I woke my dad up. I was like, hey, wait, wake up, wake up, wake up. And I was like, do you see this man standing right here? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's kind of waking up. And I'm like, do you see this guy right here? And it ended up being this sort of like, my dad was like, I don't know what you saw like the next day. He didn't see him. Uh, but like I've dreamt things that were very vivid before, but this was like I literally looked at him, looked back, looked at him again. He's still there. It wasn't like, oh, I thought I saw something.
Yeah.
And I'm not really like a ghost guy per se. Like I'm not like clairvoyant or whatever. Like I don't feel things like that. But that time it was so vivid and so real that I was like, I don't know. But the interesting thing about it is I also wasn't necessarily freaked out.
Mm.
That was the other thing. I was just like, there's someone here, and I do think now that it must have been a family ancestor or something because I just felt. I'm not saying I felt comforted, but I just felt like not scared.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think like I am a big believer, and I've had a lot of crazy things happen.
Yeah.
I think the stories where it's not someone who's like really interested in that stuff are the best because it's like no, this I have no idea what the fuck. It was just a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like some of my favorite stories are like devout atheists. If when they have a story that they can't explain, it's like I'm
It's
like,
hard.
okay,
Yeah.
I want to hear about that.
Totally. Yeah. Because yeah, because if you're like the opposite, it's almost like you're always looking for something to happen. And if you're atheist, maybe you're like, that's not real. And then some shit happens and you're like, okay, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. My cousin too, she had some story of like staying in a dorm with a friend for a couple days and she went to Duke, but she went up to visit one of her friends who went to some, I forget now the story, but it was like some really old like Ivy League school or something. And she was laying in bed and saw something or someone come through the door. Like not even like open the door. It was like they came through the fucking door as if it was like a wall.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's not really like the kind of person who would just like, pull your leg with that stuff either. Like I was like, I believe you. Like that's fucking freaky.
Yeah. I there's definitely, I don't know. There's life is more than Hunter S. Thompson has a quote I think is apt here. He's like, he said, I learned a long time ago that reality is far stranger than anyone's imagination. And I think that's very true. It's like,
I like that.
yeah, it's like, it's life is the weirdest, most interesting thing that you'll ever experience. It's crazier than any story.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. I have like, I have a lot of weird stuff happen that's not necessarily supernatural either, just like weird synchronicities, Like there's like the numbers thing, like seeing numbers, but like also just like sometimes you meet someone and it's just uh like in that lead, like I don't know, things fall into place in almost like a cliche way. I've heard it called lazy writing. I think that's a good way of,
That's funny.
yeah, it's like God's a lazy author. It's like this is like if it was a story you wouldn't believe it. It's like
Yeah.
that's way too convenient.
Let me open this door for the cat
Yeah.
real quick. Yeah. I think the cat's probably trying to use the litter box or something.
He sees a
And he
ghost.
runs away. That's just how cats are.
Yeah.
But
He's like, get up and open this door. I just want the door open.
what's that?
He's like, get up and open this door. I just want it open.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cats are so weird. But I love them. But
He just let the
yeah.
ghost in. He's like, let the ghost in the room.
Dude, sometimes he's sitting here like he's seen ghosts, and I'm like, I've never gotten weird vibes at my house, but he'll just be like looking straight up at the ceiling, like meow, and I'm like, dude, what are you looking at? Like you're freaking me out, man. You know?
Yeah, cats are so interesting. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on in your head? Like
Do you have any cats?
I have had cats many times.
Okay.
I don't have any currently. I was
Yeah.
just at a friend's house though, and their cat who like never like has never shown any interest in me, like never really fucked with me. I'm just sitting on the couch and I had been there for a while. It wasn't like I just got there. Like runs over and like hops up on me and just puts paws like right here and is just like up in my fucking face. And then this like starts like I'm not even like laying down. I'm just like sitting up and it's like got all of its paws right here. And then it
Damn.
just starts doing laps.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's my cat's like if I'm anxious and stuff, he kind of knows.
Mm.
If I'm not having a good time, he's pretty good at like coming in clutch and being a good buddy at those times. But unlike dogs, it's like if I want to pick him up, he's not always down. Dogs like they'd love for you to come over and pet them and pick them up, but the cat, he's like, no, like I'll let you know when I'm down. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, you ever been around cats on psychedelics, like acid or mushrooms?
I have not. I've actually never done psychedelics, man. Yeah,
Dude, cats react weird to that. Like they know
really?
yeah, they know when you're tripping.
That's really interesting, man. I envy people that can handle that sort of shit. I feel like I would freak the fuck out and forever be changed, which I know is not true, but I don't want to. I feel like
It absolutely
because
can be true. Yeah.
right, yeah, it absolutely can be, and I feel like the type of person that I am, which is I think I probably have some sort of you know control issues or something because I don't like flying and stuff sometimes. Not always. I fly a lot, but like sometimes I don't like it and like stuff kind of like drives my anxiety a lot. And so I just know that I wouldn't be the best candidate for psychedelics. I've smoked weed a number of times and just it also didn't really
Yeah.
suit me too well, which sucks, but whatever.
I would say generally speaking, psychedelics are not fun for me. but
Okay.
it is like it's a very spiritual thing though. Like that's where I go to have a bad time and come out stronger. Like some trial by fire kind of thing.
Hey, as long as you're not coming out friggin', disturbed, then I don't, that's great.
Well, that too. Like
Yeah.
so like more like what's crazier than acid and mushrooms is DMT.
So I've heard.
I am convinced. This is the Joe Rogan podcast now.
Right, right, yeah.
I'm convinced that you go somewhere. Um,
Physically?
yeah, like metaphysically, like your body stays.
Right, but your brain is
Yeah,
powerful enough to make you feel like you're somewhere else.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of this. Because it's not a hallucination. It's like more real than reality. Uh, and like you will go and like meet things, like have entire conversations and like and it's never like yeah I really don't I used to be like a big advocate, but I've had a number of experiences where I felt like I was under attack, and so I don't like caution people against it, but I'm not like, oh dude, you should do this anymore,
Sure. Yeah.
because quite
It's not
honestly
everybody's.
humanity has no idea what they're fucking with when it comes to
No. Yeah, absolutely not. And I think I respect the people who are able to do things and go, well, this is the ride that I'm on. I'm down for the ride. Even if I'm on a ride, like a literal ride that I don't like, it's difficult. It's uncomfortable for me. You know what I mean? And maybe that speaks to me needing to like get out of my comfort zone more or something. But I don't know if for me, I don't think psychedelics would be the best idea. But who knows? It may be like I mean, I've seen that movie Fantastic Fungi, and they talk about like the amazing benefits of psilocybin and how like if you microdose it and go to therapy, you will like fix your problems so much quicker. So I mean, like that's very intriguing, and that's something that I'm completely open to, obviously.
Yeah, not even
But
just like the psychedelic ones. Like mushrooms are fascinating. Like
dude,
they're
yeah, I take some for sleep. Like I have some that I buy at Sprouts that are like in a pill, and
yeah,
it's like theanine, melatonin, but then there's also like some sort of mushroom in there, and it's amazing.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, like mushrooms are miracle foods. Like they like beyond just the psychedelic ones, they do a lot of amazing stuff.
totally. Yeah, yeah. Like some of them.
Mushrooms are like also fucking aliens or something because like they're not plants, they're not animals, and like they're like this whole network. Like it's like you watched that same documentary.
Yeah,
The mycelium beds are like one organism. So like when you
yeah.
see a mushroom pop up, that's not like a thing itself. That's just like the finger of something.
Really
Yeah, like it's one entity.
crazy. And
Yeah, yeah.
and they're also, I don't know how picky of an eater you are, but they are also fucking delicious. Like some sauteed mushrooms on like a steak or something. Like, dude, like
Oh,
that's ridiculously good.
forget about it.
Forget about it. Forget about
Yeah,
it.
I love mushrooms.
Yeah, totally.
Mushroom podcast. What are your pizza toppings?
If I was like gonna get a pizza from somewhere, yeah, probably mushrooms. I like black olives. I know people hate them, but I really like them.
I fucking hate olives.
Hey, yeah, fair enough, man. I don't like green olives much, but black olives so good to me. Uh, light pepperoni and like banana peppers or something.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
that's a good pie.
yeah, yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas about like nobody knows, but do you have any ideas about what happens after we die?
Oh man,
The answer is always I don't know, and it's like yeah, I don't know either, but like
yeah. No one knows. No
yeah,
one knows. Um, being raised like religious, obviously, like there's always gonna be. I'm never gonna know what it's like to have been raised like atheist or something, right? No matter what I do, I think if you've been raised religious, at your darkest moments, I think that you're always gonna, at least for me, I know I'm always gonna kind of like think about that and think about what I was raised to believe. And I guess I'd like to think that there's some sort of afterlife. But sometimes like you hear about DMT and it's sort of like shit, like, you know, maybe that's all just sort of this chemical reaction in our mind that happens. And then once that chemical reaction ends, that's it. I don't know. But I'd like to think that there's some sort of afterlife. I guess that'd be nice. I don't know what that would be. I've heard people say that you're like living at your best age, whatever that was, for the rest of time. I don't know. I've heard people say that. I've heard people say different things about what they think it is, but some sort of afterlife would be nice.
Yeah, I tend towards like it's everything, like everything conceivable and unconceivable.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, it's like the only thing that's limited is our experience. Like, it's probably, I mean, I don't fucking know either, but
No,
like,
that actually, that's one of those, that's a very clear, cut and dry explanation of what it probably is. I mean, or what I hope it is. I hope it is that. I hope that that's what it is. I'm not one of those people that's like, because you know how Christianity can get kind of weird where they're like, I can't wait or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, really, dude, that kind of sounds like a death cult.
Yeah, it is weird. And I really believe too that like, I don't know, there's some stuff in the Bible that like leads me to believe. And I really didn't know my Bible. Like I didn't, but there's some stuff that's in there that makes me believe that like our experience on earth is really what is paradise. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, I definitely understand that too. Um,
yeah,
this is what's significant anyway. Like,
yeah. It's like, yeah, you have to make the most of the time here. Yeah,
I think of it like almost like a coliseum. Like, this is what everyone's looking at, and here are the participants in this game. And like, it may not have like real stakes to like the gods or whatever, but like they look at it and cheer it on like a sports event.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It is weird too. I find that like what you mentioned, how sometimes things just fall into place, and it's kind of weird how they fall into place or something clicks with somebody or whatever. That's always really interesting and fun and nice, and that'll continue to happen for everybody. But what also becomes true, and I think what ends up being confusing about our time spent here is like not everything is like that though, right? It's like certain things, certain relationships will click into place. Everything comes together as if it's like, what'd you say, lazy writing?
Yeah.
But also there's moments in life that you're just like, oh shit, this is actually a lot of like not lazy writing,
Yeah.
where you
Like,
kind of have
I
to,
never would have thought of that. Yeah.
yeah, like you have to like put in the work to make something amazing or whatever. And yeah, I mean, being a musician or being a poet or running a podcast is like that too, where it's like I really enjoy myself, but it's not like it's falling into place. You know what I mean? Like it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, like, and sometimes art is like specifically not fun. Like, it's painful. And
Absolutely.
it's like, yeah, you do it anyway. That's life.
Totally.
That's life, right? Like it's not all good, but it's fulfilling. It's like, I don't know, like I would say like I feel like it has purpose, and that to me is evidence that it is. Like, the fact that I feel that way,
When you
I
do
don't
it.
I don't just write that off. It's like it's more than a feeling. It's like it's a sense. Like, the same,
Yeah.
you see and you hear things like probably morality is like a similar thing. Like, in your gut what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
And that to me is like, that's not just something people made up. That's like a sense, the way that like sight and sound and smell are.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I guess if like you don't have that within you, you either
It's just kind of like you're blind. Like the people definitely don't. There are people that don't have it, but it's the same as like just being cut off from any sense, I guess.
yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you gonna say?
No, 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 you're good. I honestly was that was a I was like looking for the words.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Life is strange. What? So like Catholicism, I know some about, but like
Yeah.
that's like heaven and hell, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's like a big part of it. Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in hell, and they think they're really, yeah, they're like weird Christians because they think that 144,000 specifically, that number of people go to heaven, and everyone else either just stops existing, like not hell, but like you're dead, like an atheist,
Okay.
and then everyone else is resurrected on Earth, like zombies, like come out of the ground and are alive again.
Hey, I don't mind that belief because I mean I'm sure that you probably heard this, but it's like, okay, so if that many people get into heaven and then if it's just over for me, that's a lot better than going to hell.
Yeah, yeah. Hell is scary. So we were talking about, oh man. So like I've done a lot of psychedelics, especially in my like early 20s. Uh, and like I have like, so when I moved out at 18, like I was like annoyingly atheist
Sure, sure.
because of how I was raised. So like me getting away from that, I'm like 180. I fucking hate all of this. Fuck
Yeah.
you, mom, fuck you, dad. Uh,
Yeah.
and I'm not like that now, but like I was dating this girl that was like really into the supernatural, like occult stuff. And like one day we dropped acid and used a Ouija board, and I'm
Oh shit.
like I never had anything weird happen to me as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you go looking for it, like
It's out there.
it's out there, man. Uh, yeah. So like I had a phase of like fuck around and find out, and uh, at this point in my life, so like I said, like psychedelics are not really fun for me. Uh,
So am I allowed to ask,
yeah.
are you like how did you what happened and how did you because I mean I've heard lots of different things about Ouija boards. Of course, I don't have any interest in it anymore because I'm not 18. You know, I'm you know what I mean? Like it was a thing. I remember like it was maybe I would have fucked with it until I was 24 or something, but now it's like, okay, what am I gonna do? Like get together with my 30-year-old friends and be like, yeah, you guys, let's like fuck with a Ouija board. You know what I mean? No,
I
like,
mean, I mean, I do it a little bit, but
do you?
this is
Oh, you have one.
this is so this is the board we used that first night. Uh,
Wait. Wait, so you fucked around, you found out what you found out was bad, but you still have it. Why?
I've
Because
I've
if
done
you
it many times.
what
Um,
is that? What happened? What was the bad thing that you found out?
okay, so I've told this story on the podcast before, so I'm gonna keep it brief. But the first night we used it, nothing happened. The second night we dropped acid and used it, and you might have noticed this is different than a regular Ouija board. Like,
I don't even really know what
so
they
your regular Ouija board is called, it's called, I didn't know the difference at the time, but your regular board's called an evocation board, and it's splayed like this. It's like a rainbow. Like the letters go like this in an arc.
okay.
And this is an invocation board. It's a circle. So
Yeah.
uh, I said I was gonna keep this short, and I'm taking like the longest way to get there. Um, so basically, we we're sitting across from each other. It's like 2 a.m. I'm in my boxers, and we have our hands on the planchette, which is the piece you move around, and we're just sitting there. We have our hands on it, and after a minute, I start to feel it move, and I'm again obnoxiously atheist at this point.
Right.
So I'm like, I've been in a relationship with this girl for a while. I have no reason not to trust her.
You didn't like move her hand off the Ouija board and like onto you and be like, what is whoa, whoa,
What are you doing?
whoa. It's not me. It's not me.
No, I wasn't. Damn it.
You could have done that.
Yeah. Um, but it started moving, and I had no reason not to trust her. But the only logical explanation is that she's moving it.
Sure.
So that's what's going through my head. But this thing is moving around and answering our questions. And I'm tripping balls. So I'm like, I think she's doing this even though I have no reason not to trust her.
Right.
But I can't think of another explanation for this. But you know what? Let's just see what happens. I'm letting go of my preconceptions. Let's just see what happens
Totally.
for science. And it it, eventually it's calling us mom and dad, and
It's fucking creepy.
its name was Prince, and sometimes it said it like Prince, like a crown, like royalty, and sometimes it said it like Paw Prince. And you can see there's a cat on this board.
Right. Yeah.
So his name's Prince, and Paw Prince or Prince, and it was moving around, and then it told us that she was pregnant, and we're like, no, she's not. Like, that's not, you're wrong. Like, she's not pregnant. And it's like, well, then you guys should make a baby. And we're like, okay, like maybe later, but like not right now. And it was like it it was big. I was starting to get like uncomfortable about the conversation that
Yeah.
this thing's trying to tell us to like. In retrospect, I think it might have been trying to get us to like embody the baby with the spirit, like
No.
like it wanted us to give birth to it.
No.
So, but anyway, we were just kind of like, no, we're not going to do that right now. And
Yo, dude, no.
and after a certain point, and this is the difference between an evocation and an invocation board. After a certain point, like it was just still in the middle, and then I feel like a string is wrapped around my finger. My finger's just doing this on its own, and I'm just like looking at it. Again, I'm tripping balls. I'm like kind of in a trance state. So like things that should be freaking me out are not. Like I'm kind of out of it. And like my hand just starts opening and shutting. Like, and the best way I could explain it is like physical therapy.
Okay.
Like if you didn't know how to use an arm and you were trying to use an arm.
Okay. Yeah.
So I look at her and I'm like, the same thing's happening to her. And I wiggle my toes consciously, and like I stop it, like I take control and I like stop it from moving. And I'm like, okay, I'm still in control here. I think this is relatively safe. Let's just see what happens. So I'll every once in a while I'll make a movement to like remind myself like I'm in charge here. I can stop this anytime I want. But it's like it keeps opening and closing my fist, and then it like rotates my shoulder. And at a certain like, and similar things are happening to her. And at one point, dude, like my hand picked up this stick I had. It was like a stick I was like whittling down, and it picked up the stick, and I'm starting to get like thoughts in my head too, like like it's in my head, and that's like the other part of invocation is it's not in the board, it's in the circle of people. So like we're both like channeling this thing, and I just have this idea which I don't think was my own, but I like stick my arm out like this, and I place the stick on my arm, and she takes her arm and like puts it across from mine, so like we're both like this,
Yeah.
stick in between us, and then we just both kind of start going like this, and we're somehow able to coordinate in a way where the stick spins like on our arms, like just in the way we were moving it. And we tried this again sober, and we couldn't do it. Like like it would just fall off, or it was just kind of
Okay.
roll back and forth. But this thing was spinning, and that was cool. And then after a while, I realized we haven't spoken to each other in like a while. It's been like 20, 30 minutes since I've spoken to my girlfriend. And I'm like, hey, can you give me some kind of indication that you're okay? And she just looks at me with this blank expression, and a tear rolls down her face.
No.
And I'm like, okay, we're done. We're done here. Actually, what the fuck am I doing right now? Like I snap out of it. I'm like, this, what the fuck is going on? So I don't this again. I don't even believe in this shit at this time. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I take her hand, and I put my hand on the planchette, and I move it to goodbye. And as soon as I do that, the grip that this thing has on my whole body, like it doesn't let go, but it lets up. Like it's slowly starting, like the grip that this thing has over me is slowly starting to ease away. And not all at once. It took a while. Um, and I take her hand, and I'm like, come with me. And we go outside. Like I open the door. We're in our underwear. It's like 3 in the morning at this point. And I'm like leading her out of the house. I open the front door. We go down to the edge of my drive. It's like a long driveway. We go down to the edge of the driveway, and because for some reason I have it in my head, like I just need to get her away from this situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
And we get down to the edge of the driveway, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Do you not remember what just happened?" And she's like, "Yeah, kind of, but like, why did you drag me out here?" And I have it's like one of the scariest moments of my life. I had this moment where I'm like, "Is this really her?"
Oh shit.
Because she's like, "No, it's okay. Let's just go back inside." I'm like, like, and I cannot, I like, I'm tripping balls. And like, the thing is, like, that's an easy way to like, yeah, you were tripping. Of course, some weird shit happened. But like, if you look at any ancient culture, their rituals and their magic involve drugs. Like, that's
Yeah.
those two things have always gone hand in hand. So like, I don't really discount it just because we were tripping, but like, she eventually calms me down. She's like, "That was weird. I agree, but it's okay now. Please just come back in the house." And I'm like, "Okay." And she eventually like calms me down, and we didn't fuck with that for a long time, but I have done it many times, and uh, I don't recommend it, but what I will say is that was one of like two times out of maybe like 50 or 60 that it was like a scary experience.
Okay.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. Anyway, I tried to make that short, but it's that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the most realistic story I've heard about those. A lot of it's been a lot of there's a lot of like folklore or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the spirit world, but I have, and I've, like I said, I've done a lot of weird, crazy shit like that, not just with a Ouija board. But one thing I don't believe in is poltergeists. Like
What's
I've
that
never,
again?
I've never seen something levitate.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Like, like the thing,
Right.
like the thing was moving, but I know it was us moving it. Like it was in our heads, but it was not moving anything on its own. It was just using us to move things. So like I've heard lots of stories. Like I ask everyone if they've had ghost stories. I've heard lots of crazy shit. But personally, like until I see it, I don't believe that these things can interact. They can't defy physics. Like things can't just levitate.
Yeah, and I don't know if like they're actually like they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know what they are, but yeah, like I said, I mean the ghost that I saw was pretty real.
Yeah, like was
Yeah.
that a silhouette or like you saw like a dude?
No, I saw like clear as day, like a dude in his boxers and like a wife beater,
Whoa.
pretty tall, gray hair, old man, but not and he was like this too. Like he put his hand up and waved. Whole thing. It was like
Oh.
that's weird. And thereafter, we talked to the family about it, and they were like, "No, I don't think there's ghosts in there." But then we had a guy when we sold the house who came by and like renovated it and made it into like a nice house. And he was like, "Yeah, there are like some spirits in this house." So he had experienced the same thing. I don't know about the same person, but I just heard through the grapevine that that guy who lived there for a while was like, "Yeah, like there's some definite spiritual stuff going on here."
Wow. Yeah, man. Life is I don't I used to be like really, because I was religious, like really like dogmatic about how the world was.
Yeah.
Like my only like strong opinion now is that I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, there's already enough. There's so much mystery, and I think that that makes things kind of cool. I actually, that's kind of what I liked about growing up in a small town because, what town are you from?
I grew up in Fayetteville, Tennessee, which is like right above Huntsville, Alabama. It's like the last town in Tennessee before you get to Alabama.
How
And
many
it,
people
it,
live
it
there?
is also a small town.
Yeah, so like maybe you can relate then. Like something I really enjoyed about living in a smaller town is like it was like there was so much open space and not a lot of people. I mean, my town ended up getting pretty big, but it wasn't a big city. Like no one knows the town. But like you could be in like an empty field or out in the forest and there's nobody around. And I always felt like that kind of like laid this like fun blank canvas for just like uh lack of better words, but like just getting each other freaked out about shit. You know what I mean? It was kind of fun. It was like you could really like lay out in an empty field in the middle of nowhere and just like think about shit.
Yeah. The same way that like I think psychedelics open up people to things, like children are also like open. So it's like that that makes sense that like the one experience like that you've had was when you were a kid. Because like when you're a kid, my philosophy about it is like when you're a kid, you don't know anything. Like you don't.
Yeah.
As an adult, we have all these ideas about like what the world is, and it's like you study the sciences. Like you're like, okay, well, like this is possible, and this isn't. This is real, and this is not. And you have all these like mental, not walls, but you like create this map of reality, and it's like when you're a kid, you don't have that. It's like wide open.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
agree.
has something to do with it. Like
I agree.
the psychedelics just make you more malleable. They make you more open to. It makes you like a child again. You're just like everything is like everything is new.
I've heard that. I've heard that it can even restore a sense of that for people. And
Yeah.
I think that that's really interesting.
Mhm.
So I try to hold on to that anyways, if I can. But of course, yeah, like life beats you down and
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to hold on to that like
If you-
childish thing.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. If you do decide to try it, maybe just like do like a microdose of like some psilocybin or something, because like at that level, you're not gonna hallucinate. You're not gonna. It's just gonna like brighten your mood really. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
I've
make you
heard that.
think like different thought pathways maybe. But like,
I love that.
yeah, man. Well, yeah, it's really good talking to you, man. I'm glad we
Yeah.
were able to do this.
Yeah, likewise, man. Let's hang out and come out to the show if you can and or just hit me up, dude. We'll grab a drink or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, check American Snap on the 27th. And then you've got a new single coming out soon. Be on the look out for that. And yeah, thanks again, John.
Yeah, of course, man.
And we'll see you next week.
All right.